Hey, Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakakodash. Double honors to my teachers, the head apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Kazak Shalom to the hopeful elect. Real quick, you see by the title, man, you niggas don't know my God. Um, it's been on my spirit lately to go in a different faith boosts, different testimonies of how the Lord delivered us from situations that seemed bleak, that seemed hopeless. It seemed like there was no way out. But, you know, our forefathers remained faithful. They had integrity, and the Lord delivered them. And for those, who were martyrs for the faith, and they spirit, they knew that, they would come back and they lot and still have faith and serve Yahweh Shema Shah. So with that being said, I wanted to go into one of my favorite examples, one of the examples I believe, in the world when I was a so-called Christian, or when I was in the Christian church, one so-called, but Daniel and the Lions Den. That was one of my favorite accounts. So to get started out, Romans 15:4 says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." Right. So we're edified and we're ultimately exhorted by the things that we read pertaining to our forefathers. And we apply it to our walk today here in 2025. That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. We go into that word patience is long suffering, you know, and these scriptures, you know, pursuant to Psalms the 23rd chapter, it's like a healthy green grass to a sheep or a lamb. This is that rod and that staff that comforts us. So with that being said, we'll go to Daniel 6 when he was put in the lion's den. I'm gonna start up. And it's not a breakdown. I'm gonna just read and make my points. It's Daniel 6:11. And these men assembled and found Daniel praying and make a supplication before his power. And they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. So they were conspiring against Daniel. Hast thou not signed the decree that every man shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? So anybody who comes up against you and doesn't serve you, thrown in the lions den. King answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altered not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the captivity of the children of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. So it's like Daniel is ignoring that decree. He's serving his God. He's praying to him 3 times a day. He's undermining your authority. They probably came in with smooth words and subtlety, my liege. Then the king, when he had heard these words, was sore displeased with himself and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. Why? Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushua used Daniel to prove that there is only one God, and his name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai. And he realized that he'd been tricked, and he's like, damn, I feel bad for Daniel now. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree or statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy power, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. Let's actually go to that in the Bell of the Dragon account. But I'm going to read this first and go to the bell. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. And the king went to his palace and placed the night fasting and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. So he was perplexed. He was like worried about Daniel. It literally cost him sleep. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. When he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice. He's crying out unto Daniel, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living power, Is that God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. So that's a yes, an astounding yes. Now imagine it, a lion, even if the lion wasn't hungry, that's a perilous situation. We're going to go into detail what they did in order to provoke the lions to eat Daniel. But guess what? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he overcame that obstacle. And that's the same faith that we have today. Daniel 6:22, it says, My power sent his angel and have shut the lions' mouths that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him, innocency was found in me. So there was no guilt. And also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. That's why it's another very hold on. That's why it's also very important to remain blameless. You know, they have nothing to say about us except that we serve Yahweh Bashim outside. We fervent in season, out of season. You know, we might have done things in our past. We're not going to be completely perfect, but we have sincerity and we have faith, and we show it through the works that we do in the names Yahweh Yahweh Shah. We're a complete 180 from the person that we were in the world. And we let the light that is within us shine before men, just like our forefather Daniel. Danya Allah. Daniel 6:23. Then was the king exceeding glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and they break all their bones in pieces wherever they came at the bottom of the den. So, call on Allah Yahweh Shema Shah. See, all the people who plot against us, they're going to experience a similar fate. This is Bell and the Dragon. I started 25 and reaching into the chapter, or reaching 34ish. It's Bell and Dragon, verse 25. 24. And the king said unto Daniel, Wilt thou also say that this is of brass? Lo, he liveth, he eateth and drinketh. Thou cannot say that he is no living God, therefore worship him. Let's talk about the statue. Then said Daniel, or the idol. Then said Daniel unto the king, I will worship Yahweh, my power, for he is the living God. But give me leave, O king, and I shall slay this dragon without sword or staff. The king said, I give thee leave. Then Daniel took pitch, fat, and hair, and did seethe them together, and made lumps thereof. This he put in the dragon's mouth, and so the dragon burst in sunder. And Daniel said, Lo, these are the gods you worship. He hollered. When they of Babylon heard that, they took great indignation and conspired against the king, saying, The king is become a Jew, and they have destroyed Baal. They have slain the dragon, and put the priest to death. So they came to the king and said, Deliver us Daniel, or else we will destroy thee in thy house. And when the king saw that they pressed him sore, being constrained, he delivered Daniel unto them, who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days. See, these stories, these chapters go hand in hand. Daniel 6 and the Bell and the Dragon. Who cast him into the lion's den, where he was 6 days, and in the den there were 7 lions, and they had given them every day 2 carcasses and 2 sheep, which then were not given to them, to the intent that they might devour Daniel. Now there was in Jeri a prophet called Habakkuk, who had made pottage and had broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field for to bring it into the reapers. But the angel of the Lord said unto Habakkuk, Go carry the dinner that thou hast into Babylon unto Daniel, who is in the lion's den. And Habakkuk said, Lord, I never saw Babylon, neither do I know where the den is. Then the angel of the Lord took him by the crown and bare him by the hair of his head, and through the vehemency of his spirit set him in Babylon over the den. And Habakkuk cried, saying, O Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which Yahweh have sent thee. And Daniel said, Thou hast remembered me, O Yahweh, neither hast thou forsaken them that seek thee and love thee. And again, going to that Romans 15:4, this is the faith that we have as the hopeful elect. Like how about Shimei Shah is going to show up and show out for us. You know, we're going to be up against governors and princes and people who want to take our lives just for us standing up for the truth, professing the truth boldly. Guess what? We don't give a damn because we know death and our enemies are things that are not supposed to be feared. Because guess what? Yahweh, through His Son Yahweh Shah, has conquered them both. It's a matter of when, not if. The victory is ours. Verse 39, the bell and the dragon. So Daniel rose and did eat, and the angel of the Lord set Habakkuk in his own place again immediately. Upon the seventh day, the king went to bewail Daniel, and when he came to the den, he looked in, and behold, Daniel was sitting. Then cried the king with a loud voice, saying, great art thou, O Lord, power of Daniel, and there is none other besides thee. And he drew him out and cast those that were the cause of his destruction into the den, and they were devoured in a moment before his face. So again, just to reiterate the point, how about Shimei Shah is going to intervene. That's why the scriptures say that he was going to lift up a standard when our enemies come in like a flood. We have faith that we are going to have those spiritual powers and we're going to be able to survive. We look at examples like Elijah, how he prophesied against the famine, and the Lord fed him. He was in the midst of it, but guess what? He remained faithful. He had integrity, and he did what the Lord told him to do. So these are the examples that we follow after as we walk on that straight gate, that straight path, that narrow path that only one can walk at a time. You know. So Abu Ratazah, this was edifying. The water, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, give me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, until next time, Shalom. Tune in for the live show. Salakia, tune in for the Saturday street preaching. Shalom.